All right, we need to get these chickens here moved to a fresh spot in the pasture. I have a few objectives as we go along. First of all, I want to show you how to use this poultry netting here. Also, we want to get this done before it's time for supper, and we want to avoid getting attacked by the mean roosters. I have two separate batches of chickens actually. I've got one up here in my front pasture and one in our back pasture. But we are just going to be moving these front ones here. I'm not going to have enough time before supper to move both of them. And usually we have about 65 to 85 birds in each pen. And I use two 164-foot nets, and that gives them plenty of space. The egg wagon you see right there behind me, that could actually do about 100 birds, would be able to fit about 100 birds. But at this point we're not selling enough eggs to have that many chickens. Anyways, we are going to set two more nets up here in this fresh grass that I actually just mowed it down a little bit because it was so tall. We're going to set two new nets up. We're going to move the egg wagon and the chickens over into that pen, and we'll take these nets back down. So it can be a little interesting to get all the chickens to move into the next pen. They can be a little ornery sometimes and not want to move, but we'll see how it goes. All right, what we need to do first is gather the eggs so that they aren't rolling around in there when we move the egg wagon. So let's get that done quick. If you let your hens go broody, they'll stop laying eggs, so we make sure to get them off every time. Getting a full egg basket, maybe you should put some of those eggs in my basket.
Hey, who took the egg? Hey? No. Go.
We got the eggs out, but we also need to get any other chickens out of here so we can move it and they aren't riding in there along with it. And now what we need to do is get the egg wagon on its wheels so that we can move it. We're gonna get it all ready to go before we set up the other net and move the chicken. So what I need to do now is put the legs up so that it's on its wheels. We can get it moved to the next spot. For now, until we're ready to move it, the egg wagon will just sit on those wheels and the front legs. Once we're ready to move it, put the front legs up and go for it. All right, next up, we are gonna set up the next paddock. We have two nets to set up, and actually the space that I'm going into is not quite big enough for both nets to be all the way stretched out. So we'll just have to double them up a little bit in one spot, but that'll work just fine. I wanna use up as much of my pasture as I can. So let's go ahead and get these nets set up so we can get these chickens moved. This is 164 feet of electric poultry netting with step-in posts on it. So just go and spread it out around the perimeter, then go back through and set it up and step the post in. All right, I'm gonna make these two nets meet in this corner right here, and I'm gonna get it close to this fence right here so I can hook it up to that so I can get his juice. All right, I've got their next paddock all set up. Got it tucked down in the grass all around so nothing comes underneath it. And now what I'm gonna do is take out the 2 fences that are dividing the 2 paddocks, get them out of the way a little bit, and roll the egg wagon in here, roll their feeder and water in here, and get the chickens all moved in. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, now we get the egg wagon leveled back up, open up the door so they can get back in for the night. All right, the egg wagon's in place, feeder's in place. Now all that's left to do is just to put the strings on the corners, stake them in the ground, just pulls the net up nice and tight, keeps it looking sharp and working good. I'm gonna start right here in this corner. This is the corner that is going to fasten on the fence, and this is where it meets, so I just want to make sure that this one is all nice, and then pull the other corners away from this one. All right, everything's done, got them all moved. Let me take you on a quick tour of our egg wagon. This egg wagon is 6 foot by 12 foot, and it's built to be able to manage about 100 laying hens. Okay, let's take a look inside. Have perches on one side, and then another perch there in front of the nest. That's enough perch space for at least 100 chickens. We have curtains in front of the nest boxes. Chickens like to lay their eggs in privacy, and so those curtains give them a nice dark spot to lay their eggs. Got this board here that's hinged to put down in front of the nest boxes if I want to keep them out, like especially at night, because they will tend to sleep in there and poop in there and stuff, and it keeps it a little cleaner. I don't usually use that, but sometimes I do. The floor is made with 1-inch wire mesh. Makes so most of the manure falls through, but then keeps the predators out. And then the floor is made with boards just so I can be able to walk through the middle there. Have the big door here that's mainly for the humans. and a little door here. That's for the chickens. That gets closed at night to keep the predators out. Even with the electric netting on the outside, predators will still get in here every once in a while, especially at night. I don't usually have problems during the day, except for hawks. And what I do, I actually forgot to bring it out here. I had it in a different spot, but what I do is I use a fake owl and stick it out here and just move it around every few days, and that keeps the hawks away. Also, having roosters out here helps keep the hawks away too. Over here is their feed and water cart. So let me just show you how this works real quick. 2 wheels on the back. The front is just an A-frame leg. There are hooks for the waters and the feeder to hang on. The nest boxes are accessible from the outside, just to make gathering the eggs a lot easier. Pull this pin here, and this door can be chained up. And what I use is plastic gray nest bottoms. You can get those on Amazon. Basically, it's just a pad that has holes in it so that if eggs break or something like that, it can go down through, and then down in the bottom of the box itself, I've got holes drilled. So anything goes down through, it doesn't stay in there and get all nasty, stuff like that. And that works really well. And then after a while, what I'll do is I'll either just shake most of the stuff off, or then I'll even take them and use a pressure washer on them and clean them off real good. This works right along with our cow. We got a cow and a calf over there. So our cow gets moved around into these different paddocks. Chickens get moved around in the different paddocks. It all works together really well. And we have seen major improvements with our pasture over the last few years. And so we feel like we're doing something right.